I just imagine somebody with a ruler and being like, you've been subordinate lately.
Anybody got a fag? Where's the fags?
If you're wearing another man's jersey, that guy gets to fuck you.
Being femme is one thing, but being a girl is a different thing.
And being trans femme is another thing.
Sometimes you feel like you deserve the things you go through because of how the world is treating us.
They're projecting their idea of what they think a trans person is onto you.
We're not causing harm. We're surviving it.
You can still be like, a homo.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Queer Collective Podcast. I'm your host, Carbon.
I'm Emily.
I'm Danny.
I miss Myles.
And welcome to the show. And this episode is sponsored by Vizzy Hard Seltzer and Field, but more on that later.
Homophobia, transphobia, and misogyny all have one thing in common: a deep hatred of femininity. In today's episode, we're digging into femmephobia. We're going to explore it from a trans lens. We'll dig into our guests' personal experiences, the origins of femmephobia, and how it's perpetuated, and so much more. Let's get into it.
And with us today, first and foremost, we have Miss Myles, who is a multifaceted creative force, DJ, makeup artist, poet, creative director, and co-founder, carving space for self-expression, reinvention, emerging talent, and championing QT, BIPOC, and 2S LGBTQIA plus communities. Her genre-blurring artistry is fearless, fluid, and deeply rooted in her lived experience as a Jamaican trans queer woman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me once again.
And our second guest today is Danny, or Danielle Lastres, she, they pronouns, who is a Costa Rican Peruvian trans photographer born in Toronto. Their work challenges conventional beauty standards by celebrating the beauty of queer bodies and stories. Danielle's work highlights the resilience and creativity of queer life, including the ongoing efforts to keep the Kiki ballroom scene alive through photos, testament to the power of community. Their work has been featured in Paper Magazine as well as on public billboards, work, and Nathan Phillips Square. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
And you can find both of them in our short film documentary called Turning Heads Volume 2.
Watch a little documentary.
It's
on our YouTube channel.
For free. The first place I want to start is defining femmephobia so we can all get on the same page. So femmephobia is the devaluation and policing of femininity. It impacts people of all genders and sexes, especially those who express femininity outside of the quote-unquote acceptable context of cis, straight, and white womanhood. Mm-hmm. This not only shifts femininity to a subordinate status, but it also creates power in those who are not viewed as feminine. And this is in contrast to misogyny, which is specifically a hatred and prejudice of women. So that's kind of the difference. Like femmephobia impacts anyone who's feminine, and misogyny is like specifically a women thing.
I like the word subordination and the way it's used.
Kind of, it can be sexy, right? Yeah.
Insubordinate. My subordinate. I like it. Yeah. I just imagine somebody with a ruler and being like, you've been subordinate lately.
Which one are you watching?
I don't even know what it means, to be honest.
In some examples of femmephobia is thinking a man is less than for displaying feminine attributes, having more respect for people who embody masculine traits or interests, and the idea that liking feminine things is stupid. For example, like hating on people who enjoy Taylor Swift, specifically because it's like a girly thing and a lot of women like it.
Not because it's a white thing.
No,
Let's make that very clear. Like,
there's other ways to hate
I've
it.
said things.
Yeah, that's different. Meanwhile, you're fangirling over an athlete and wearing a jersey with another man's name on the back.
Which, like, to me,
So straight.
if you're wearing another man's jersey, that guy gets to fuck you. That if his name
Can I
is
watch?
on,
Everyone put the jersey on.
Can I watch? I want to watch.
I was gonna say.
That sounds hard. And I might be trans, but I'm still into gay porn.
Yeah, I think we're all into gay porn.
Period.
A lot of
lesbians are into gay porn.
Shit.
So, of course, we're talking about a lot of trans femininity today, and I wanted to give an example of how femmephobia especially impacts those existing outside of quote-unquote acceptable femininity, and that's really seen through trans misogyny. And we see this really clearly through heightened murder rates. Trigger warning, we're going to be talking about murder rates, unemployment, and homelessness in the trans community. According to the Trans Murder Monitoring Report, in 2024, 350 trans and gender diverse people were murdered, and 94% of those were trans women and trans feminine people, and 80% were people of color.
Is this in America?
This is worldwide. Sorry, not to be Pitbull.
I was like, why did you say it
Sorry,
like
not
that?
to bring Pitbull into this moment.
Mr. Worldwide.
Not to lighten the mood. Okay. And in response, that was weird. In response to the murders of femme and trans folks, American gender theorist Judith Butler says, killing is an act of power, a way of reasserting domination, even a way of saying, I am the one who decides who lives and dies. So killing establishes the killer as sovereign in the moment that he kills. And that is the most toxic form that masculinity can take. And I'm wondering for y'all, first question, has transitioning provided either of you any reflections on the way that society treats people who embody femininity?
I honestly didn't even really think about all that after getting into my journey of transitioning. For context, I lived my life mostly as non-binary. I just never really wanted to fully transition because of the things that I would see from other trans people. And I think that's what stopped me from actually taking those extra steps, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't expect, because I thought maybe I would be strong enough and I wouldn't actually, for some reason, maybe in my delusional mind, not go through these things, because maybe I would already have these precautions ready. When I got assaulted, everything that I thought I knew just went out the window. I'm like, how is this happening? I thought I was prepared for this. And when I was hooking up, for an example, as a butch queen, I never experienced these things. I feel like my life flashed before my eyes. I really just didn't think I'd be put in those positions. And maybe there's a lot of ignorance too, because it's this is not gonna happen to me, I'm strong, I can do this and that. But when you're put in that position, I'm just oh shit, I'm fucked. Being femme is one thing, but being a girl is a different thing, right? So it's just
And being trans femme is another thing as well.
Absolutely. There's nothing you could or could not have done that would have stopped that person who caused you harm from causing you harm. Because earlier this year, I was literally DJing and a guy groped me in the middle of my set.
While you're cooking?
While I'm cooking.
Oh my
And mind you,
God.
this is a guy that I knew in high school. And so me showing up as I am and me looking so different to him, he was also on drugs. He thought of me as subordinate, and he thought it was okay to touch me and stuff. And it escalated quickly. And for me, I went into freeze. I just finished my job and I didn't even make it a big deal because that's what I was programmed to do. Even when I was a butch queen, no shade, there was some very precarious sexual situations that I was in, and I don't even register them or reflect on them with a lot of thought because I'm scared to really unpack it and be that was dicey. I really should not have allowed that. But I feel as women and as feminine people, some of our survival tactics that we're taught to do oftentimes reinforces harm in a way, and that's really not our fault because it's just we're not causing harm, we're surviving it. After the fact, I was literally just venting about it on my story, and everyone's girl, you were sexually assaulted. And I was just oh, right. My first thought was to minimize it rather than to be no, fuck that guy for fucking grabbing my boob in the middle of my fucking set. He was fucking weird. I don't care how many drugs you're on. You don't do that.
I also
Period.
don't think that you can ever be prepared.
No.
As prepared as you can try to get when you're in the moment, and it is fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. I think those are
What's
the four.
fawn?
Fawn is you try to appease them. You try to give in to what they want. It's just oh, haha, you're so right. And you do minimize it, but you're also playing into their ego more.
Yeah. I'm someone who freezes in these kinds of situations. I have a really hard time even just saying consent, when I mean it, because I don't know if it's these conditioning that you have to be quiet and subordinate, and you're not supposed to upset a man.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
I definitely
what it is, or
No, that's definitely one of the things. You're not supposed to upset a man, for
I
sure.
think also it's fear of how they're going to react as well, because they can be big, giant fucking babies and strong and big and scary.
Yeah.
And being in a situation where someone definitely physically overpowers you is really scary.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
back to my situation, this person, they were pretty much just gassing me up, and I don't know, I kind of sometimes eat it up badly. Prior to transitioning, I just never thought I could, because I just felt it's kind of too late for me. I know it's like never too late, you know, but I just felt like it was too late for me. Like there's no way that like I could be looked as a girl or be looked as like the way I want to be. But then there's people who'll be like, oh, you're like the prettiest trans girl I've ever seen. And he's like feeding me all these things until like I don't give him what he wants. And he's just like calling me a tranny. You're like a boy in a wig and all these things. And I gagged. Like he was ready to fight me. I was like,
Scary when someone splits on you like that.
does this make you feel better? Do you feel like if you do that, you're rejecting everything that just happened?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like so weird because you were into it all the way through.
Girl.
You got your life.
Yeah.
The chasers are fucking.
The chasers, what we were talking about last time.
I don't like to use the word crazy, but they're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
scary and violent, and it
Because
really,
they switch as soon as they get their nut. After the that happens, I'm not gonna lie.
The
You
regret
become
comes in, or
disposable.
the
That's really what happens.
yeah.
Like,
Then they have to face like what they just did, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
they, you know, message you a month later. There's people who are like, I'm sorry, I can't do this again. And then they'll message me, hey, remember me? I miss you. And I'm like,
yeah.
no, you don't.
No.
No, you don't.
Oh, within my transition, I think I've become more empathetic to like women and what femme people do to protect themselves. Whether or not it's understood, my sense of style has changed. Earlier on in my transition, I was so like hyper femme, and that was something that like I felt so empowered in, very much affirmed in like presenting in a hyper femme way. And then I'm glad to like have surrounded myself with so many women that present themselves differently, and so many, not even necessarily women, but just like feminine people that present themselves differently. And I'm not gonna transition to just like not have agency in how I present myself and how I feel. So now like in terms of hyperfemininity, even that's when I'm an entertainer. Like it's like a little bit of drag, you know? Like I put on the clothes, I put like I become bigger than life.
Character.
A little bit of a character when I'm working, and then like when it's just me and I'm chilling, like I don't feel the need to perform to that same extent anymore. And not to say like clothing's performance. Like I will always like celebrate like women who are femme 100% of the time, and like that is truly who they are. I think because of how like desirability as where I'm at in my transition, I have to kind of like curb that by presenting in a little bit more of like a STEM way, or like presenting fully. Like I'll give stud if I need to.
Yeah.
And
You be looking like a hot lesbian these days.
hello,
you know?
femmephobia, the way it's like subordinate, like subordination, and the way people treat you and like treat
I
you
think
as
that
like
you can objectify you.
exactly objectify me, sexualize me. Like it's definitely made me very intentional about what I wear.
I feel safer in masculine clothes. And like
Exactly.
honestly, when you're walking down the street and you feel someone behind you or following you, like I like make myself bigger and I walk in a more masculine way. And it's like when I
100%.
feel like my clothes are masculine, I feel safer in that whole mix.
I don't really know how to act.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to act when stuff like that happens, especially it's like my first time.
Girl, there's no class on how to act.
Yeah, there
when,
isn't.
when
Yeah.
you're- when you've been harmed. I don't want you to be like shoulda, coulda, woulda about like what would have prevented that. I mean, of course, there's things and resources that we can look into about like how to be safer when we're navigating like sexual experiences. But altogether, like if someone is intending to cause harm, it does not matter.
There's definitely lessons you can take from situations that like I'm still learning to empower yourself, or like have someone who's there to keep you safe as well, like someone who knows where you are.
I've changed certain things. I'm still working on it because I feel like there's still butch queen tendencies. As a butch queen, I feel like you could just do things, go and get out, and that's it. Doesn't matter where. For an example, you could just meet someone at a park and hook up and all these things. Now I feel like I can't do that. You know, it really puts me in danger.
Unfortunately, the dolls don't cruise.
No,
Dolls don't
I mean,
cruise.
I don't even do that. But
Yeah.
I'm still trying to like discover me still. And you were just saying like it's time for self-love and all that stuff. And I still love the idea of like being cherished, but maybe it's just like looking at the wrong places, you know? Yeah, I feel like
Loving
definitely
yourself first is important. You know what I mean? And like feeling really comfortable and secure in who you are is super, super important. Yeah.
Isn't it wild that like for the most part, large majority of men don't ever have to think about that? And we're sitting here having a whole conversation about it.
Yeah.
And I hope they listen.
better fucking listen.
Sit down and be subordinate.
It's crazy because to add to that story, I don't know if like it's too much because maybe I'm
please
wrong,
don't
but like
add.
so
No, you're
like
not rambling at all.
So I was when that happened.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Over the last 5 years, Vizzy has supported our mission to authentically and positively represent the entire LGBTQ2S+ community.
And with Vizzy's vibrant flavors, you can follow your own vibe. Be bold, be flavorful, and above all else, be yourself. Plus, Vizzy only has 100 calories and 1 gram of sugar per can.
Cheers! Must be of legal drinking age, and please enjoy responsibly.
And now, back to the episode.
I was talking to someone. I was talking to someone like for 5 months. And the thing is, we weren't like exclusive. I really did like him. And we had a conversation. Hello. We had a conversation about like, are we going to be exclusive? He was telling me like he wanted me to be his girlfriend. So because I really liked
the same
him.
guy? Or
No,
this
different
someone
guy.
else? Okay.
I would pay for like the dinners, the dates. I would cook for him. I was doing a lot.
Damn.
I know. Also, maybe it's the non-binary
when
in
you
me.
love someone.
True, but like
You
maybe
love showing affection, don't you?
Yes, I like cooking. I like.
What do you mean
showing
it's the
someone,
non-binary in me?
You know,
What do you
like
mean?
I made this guy like. I remember like not knowing what I had in my kitchen, and I got like a thyme and like tomatoes and like paprika and fucking rosemary and
Spices.
pasta, ground beef.
She whooped it
I
together.
whooped it together, bitch. And he was eating that, and like he was looking at me like, bitch, you are mine. You know, this is
I'm gonna eat
my
you next.
girl. Yeah, bitch.
You feed a man, you keep a man. No shade.
He's the meatball to my pasta. That's all I know. Right. Well, anyways, but the thing is, like, it did not end out very good because I'm doing all these things, and he was like, I want you to be my girlfriend, and I'm like, okay, well, take me out. And he was telling me like, oh, well, I don't want to be in a relationship where it's like transactional. Transactional, my ass, bitch.
Yeah.
But anyways,
One dinner.
fast
Well,
forward.
what do you mean?
Hello? When he found out I got assaulted, like he was trying to be there for me, but I wanted like affection. I wanted kisses. I wanted him to be like, everything's gonna be okay. He was just like being so quiet with me. At one point, I just wanted to watch a movie and like do something chill. And then he was like, can you suck my dick?
Whoa,
And I'm-
after that
right
situation.
after that situation. And I told him like, do you think that's like appropriate? I don't really want to do anything
I just need
sexual.
comfort, support.
And then he was like, for lack of better words, he was like, then why am I here? You know, like, and then he was like trying to, listen, I kind of went crazy too because I know like
I would crash out.
I crashed
Yep.
out. I was doing a lot.
Rightly so.
I was doing a lot. And then I just thought he would be more understanding, but like, I feel like he was definitely manipulating me emotionally. He was like, well, I'm going to go then. And like, I think his idea was like, he wanted me to chase him, which I did. And, but you know what? We learned from these experiences. And like, I definitely did crash out
Yeah.
severely. But it just made me feel like they don't really care about my feelings, especially as a trans person. I just feel like I'm just a thing that they
You're
just want to
disposable.
fuck. And they want to give them, they want me to give them the emotional stuff. And then when they're done, they're like,
Yeah.
disposable.
No
I'm sorry
shade,
that you
very
had that
disposable.
experience back to back. That is, it's really painful.
The pain and the mistakes you make, I want to like emphasize that in quotes. Everything that happens to you is going to eventually lead you to the best version of yourself. You go through this process of like relearning and like people treating you differently, people like valuing you differently. Ultimately, there's going to be a time where you can look back on these things and be like, I absolutely deserve better. But sometimes you feel like you deserve the things you go through because of how the world is treating us. It takes a lot of like power and a lot of like determination to like find your voice. Give yourself the time to learn from what really happened and what really went down that you needed. Not shoulda, coulda, woulda, more so like, okay, this did happen. This is what it is. Okay, moving forward, I want better, or I would prefer this. I want to be more vocal. I want to demand more. And I feel like people don't like femmes, unfortunately, who are empowered to like demand more, especially I fear in like very like cis heterosexual like dynamics where it's like it will be like a cis man and a doll. I feel like especially, or just if a femme in general, they literally feel like they own you in a certain sense, or
especially
like
if they're looking for that certain kind of like hyper femininity that like fits a very specific box.
Hyper femininity with submission.
Absolutely.
Not all of those relationships. I'm not going to put like a broad brush on that. Like I'm sure some people have found healthy relationships.
Sure,
but
some people out there have
someone somewhere.
they have it. Yeah,
Somebody
They
somewhere maybe is
found
in a
us,
healthy
yeah.
relationship.
yeah,
With
out
a
there.
cis man.
Hey, in the comments,
Tell me if you
Tell me if you're in a healthy
if
relationship.
You have a healthy relationship with a
Yeah.
cis man.
I'm trying not to put assumptions on people anymore. People in the comments get angry when I do that. So that's my disclaimer.
That's
maybe
crazy.
someone somewhere is okay. There you go.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I think the thing that I feel most shocked by in your story was that you never before your transition experienced anything like this, and you're having the same kind of sexual practices and nothing was happening before. And honestly, like I see you as like the same being, the same essence as before. Like I know you've transitioned, but I'm like you're the same Danny
Maybe
to
it's
me.
the non-binariness.
I think it's also the
Non-binary, see
non-binary
non-binary.
essence. I'm like, I
yeah,
see you as your essence. But it's like, it truly is like a hatred of femininity.
People will see you the way that they want to see you. Like they will put an image to your face because you look like this now. And I saw you, I don't know the last time I saw you, but it was a while ago and you look differently. But I feel like your visual representation now matches the way, like your energy. I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
No,
it was like always there. It's the same thing, but people want to put like a certain image, a certain like mask on you, on everyone. They feel like entitled to parts of you, which they're not. And I think that's why people like, you know, like celebrities, as soon as they change something about themselves, like they lose weight, they gain weight, they change their face, they change their hair, they change whatever. People are like, no, but I see you this way. And I am entitled to the way that I see you.
I've been talking to my friends about like just me being cognizant of the boxes people put me in. I just noticed like when I was like leaning into being more hyper femme, consistently femme presenting in a way that was digestible to like cis white people specifically, I noticed as soon as I pulled back, the energy in which people like approached me with, and people some people felt more invited to speak to me, especially in sapphic spaces.
Yeah,
There
there
was
you go.
But there was a shift in who felt like they could access me.
Well, one thing I'm gonna say is like some lesbians, they love dominance and masculine in women.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you saying that you're embodying all of these things and other people are gonna hate them. I'm like, I know a crowd that's gonna love it.
I mean, I definitely like that too.
Yeah.
Because if I was gonna be with a girl,
Because
just
because
saying.
healthy masculinity
miss my-
is hot. Healthy masculinity is hot. Yeah.
But I don't even know that if it's necessarily like masculinity. I feel like my expression was more grounded. That change in my life and that decision to like be red and stuff, like that prompted a whole bunch of like different energy. And I'm a universe, like a little bit of a spiritual woo-woo girl. And so like me going through like being red for like damn near 4 years consistently, the world just treated me differently and the universe just treated me differently. There was different things coming at me. I turned 25 and I feel like that's a big number. That's a milestone. And so it's just like there's a chapter that needed to be closed, and I wanted to return to a version of myself that was more grounded, that like I can sit back and assess the way people treat me and the way I'm valued based off of like how I am now or how I present now versus how I presented them.
And I think it is just like coming into yourself, because I think people can also read when you are unsure. Does that make sense?
They take advantage of that.
You can feel someone's uncertainty, or like, yeah, it feels like something that you can take advantage of. And that is also why I'm saying is like take time to know and love yourself before you're putting yourself in any
100%.
precarious situations.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump into the origins of femmephobia and how it's perpetuated. So where the hell did this come from?
Men.
Wake it up. Oh,
So, spoiler alert, Carbon already spoiled it. It is the patriarchy, but also white supremacy and heteronormativity. Are you surprised?
gags. Goops.
Yeah. So, let's get into the why behind society's weird obsession with disrespecting femininity.
The disrespect.
Dr. Hoskin explains in her research, Femme Theory, Refocusing the Intersectional Lens, that the core issue is that masculinity is built by violently rejecting femininity.
Violently. violence.
From a young age, boys are taught that to be a quote-unquote real man, they must not act, dress, speak, or feel like a girl or anything considered feminine. Don't cry like a girl, don't throw like a girl, don't wear pink or glitter or care about your skincare like a girl. Basically, being a real man means being not a woman, not feminine, and God forbid, gay.
Because those are the ones we can take advantage of.
Gay.
So what happens when masculinity is defined as dominant, strong, leading, and rational, and it's upheld by distancing itself from femininity? Well, femininity gets painted as its opposite, emotional, weak, irrational, and submissive.
Weak.
And
girl.
thus unworthy of respect. Society says there is only one acceptable version of femininity: white, straight, and cisgender, and thin. And probably named Madison, or maybe Emily?
Spooky.
Clock the T. However, even that version is still treated as a decoration. Femmephobia punishes all other forms of femininity and keeps femme people in a box that says you're pretty but not powerful. Next, let's jump into the high school hallways with American sociologist C.J. Pascoe, whose research titled, quote, "Guys Are Just Homophobic." And spoiler alert, they're also femmephobic.
That's like the same thing almost.
Pascoe observed how teen boys construct masculinity by constantly dunking on femininity. She introduces the
you say
concept.
dunking?
Yeah, I said dunking.
Dunking on femininity.
Literally,
Shout
though.
out to Squish.
Yeah. She introduces the concept of fag discourse, which
Whoa.
sounds academic, and I kind
Does
of
it?
I kind of like it.
It's academic?
I don't know the word
think
fag discourse.
discourse. I think discourse makes it
I feel like we're doing it
It's
right
the
now.
discourse?
I think we're having a fag discourse right now.
Oh my
I
god.
like that.
Yeah, which sounds academic, but really just means teen boys calling each other F slurs or mocking anything they see as soft, emotional, queer, or femme in order to establish dominance in who is performing masculinity correctly.
Did you know in London, like a joint is a fag? They're like,
Yeah.
can I bum a fag?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that
You didn't
until
know
I
that?
went.
Been-
That's
Been
crazy.
known.
No, I
Been
didn't.
known.
Oh, I'm the
I'd
dumb
be
one?
saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'd be saying that in public just
Yeah.
to like wake it up. No, for real.
Stir it up. Bring it back.
I don't even smoke. I'd be like, anybody got a fag? Where's the fags?
Wait, Danny, I'm going to prompt you to be problematic. Who can say the F slur?
I don't know. Maybe this is problematic, but it's like between me, I could say it. But now that I'm like a girl, I'm like I could say it. But then it's just like if I say it to a butch queen, I feel like I'm almost insulting them a little bit. Do you feel that way? No.
No, I love calling butch queens.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just waiting for the day someone's gonna like fight me for it.
I think I'm more selective now about when and where
gets the pleasure?
I say it and who gets the pleasure of getting called.
But
a
you,
fag.
when you like, for an example, when I say fag to butch queens, I really, I guess I'm thinking like femmes, non-femme, homo,
Right.
homogenized
yeah.
milk.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they could actually be like, "Who you calling fag, tranny?" Like, I feel like,
Oh, yeah.
I
no
feel
one can
like
say
they
that.
could do that.
Yeah. No.
Maybe that's just the fear.
Right.
Back to our fag discourse. Oh my God. Okay. So it doesn't stop at words. Pascoe explains that boys are pressured to constantly prove their heterosexuality. And how do they do it? Through what she calls sex talk and sexualized control. Coming into what both of y'all were saying in terms of like sexual assault and the way that men feel like they can act towards femmes. Sex talk refers to bragging or joking, often falsely, about sexual acts with girls in ways that are graphic, performative, and downright gross. Like a contest to see who can sound the most heterosexual. I've definitely had this happen to me in high school. People will just go around in order to inflate their own masculinity and ego and speak down on you and your own reputation, no matter what actually did or did not happen.
Like I'm the big man on campus kind of.
Yeah, like I did this, I did that, having a big mouth. And then sexualized control refers to how boys assert dominance over girls' bodies, both verbally and physically. We're talking touching without consent, rating their bodies or commenting on their appearances, spreading rumors, and policing girls' sexuality, like calling them sluts if they say no.
No, I feel that. But you know what? They kind of reminded me of like today though at work. There's like this guy. He kind of saw me kind of go through my transition and stuff. It's just like when I started working at this job. Like I I felt like I looked like maybe a boy, but like femme. So this guy wouldn't like really give me that sort of attention until like I started looking different, right? And then anyways, today was his last day at work. And he was like, damn, Danielle, like your ass is fat. And then he slapped my ass.
Oh.
Mind you, I'm patted down. Okay. So I like,
I didn't even feel it.
I didn't feel that shit. That shit went whoop. But anyways, the point is, it's just like it makes me think like, what do you have? First of all, the first thing at work. But first,
He's lucky he can't get fired.
well, tomorrow was his last day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. But I don't think he would have done that. Maybe I'm delusional, but would he have done that to like a cis girl? You know, maybe he thought he could get it away with it from doing that.
It's possible.
Right? And because he knew me as one thing and then another thing. I just don't understand why he thought he could like get away with it.
I just
You
had
know
a
what I mean?
reflection as well, which is kind of ick, but I have not been sexually assaulted since high school. I really feel like it's about men knowing who is a vulnerable person, like me being a young person who like didn't know very much about consent or anything like that, and being someone who you can take advantage of, and seeing trans people as someone who's in a vulnerable point in their life and someone you can take advantage of. Would someone do that to a cisgendered person? And I'm like, that happened to me a lot in high school, but I'm like, hasn't happened to me since then though.
When it comes to like gay men, you know, being with gay men, I feel like they think they could just do whatever to each other. You know how like boys at the gym, they'll just like smack each other's ass?
Yeah.
I'm like, why did he think he could do that to me, right? And I'm thinking maybe he doesn't see me as a guy, but maybe he doesn't see me as fully a girl. But
I don't think
know.
it's our business to even go through the mindset
That's
of
true.
these like horrible chasers.
That
though.
was
Like-
exactly
Yeah,
where
like,
I was
that's
going.
true.
I don't care.
I don't care. Just
Well,
don't
no,
care.
you're right. I just don't know
Yeah.
why. Like, I just don't know why he thought that was the moment, because it just made me think like, why he would never do that with everyone else.
Absolutely.
So why me?
I think it's genuinely because he thinks you are a vulnerable person or you are someone who he doesn't think is going to say no. Like maybe, you want attention. Like they're projecting their idea of what they think a trans person is onto you. And most of the time that's from media, that's from porn. It's from all of these ideas that are not actually based in
Especially
seeing
porn.
you as a human being. I have a little discussion question for y'all.
Ooh.
Is homophobia actually just femmephobia and misogyny?
Wait, what? Say it again.
Is homophobia actually just femmephobia and misogyny?
Put together. What do you think?
I feel like low key, but like not fully, because I feel like when we're talking about like you said misogyny, wow, my short term memory, what the fuck? Misogyny and
everyone
femmephobia,
okay?
right? Is homophobia? Why am I repeating this again? Give me this damn paper.
So while she reads that, I'm gonna
music.
answer the question. I do feel like homophobia originates in femmephobia. I feel like the reason why people feel like they can demean homosexual men or queer people is because society teaches them that their femininity makes them inherently less valuable as people, that there's something inherently wrong with them because of that femininity. Homophobia operates differently when you are a queer person who isn't necessarily femme presenting or like feminine in nature. You somehow become more palatable amongst the people who would otherwise be homophobic to someone who is more femme. There's that crossover. There's definitely some nuance in there, but I think they go hand in hand for sure.
I was going to say, I think they're distinct, but they overlap. A lot of homophobia can just be rooted in religion as well, and people just thinking
Absolutely.
it's wrong to be in same-sex relationships and shaming it for that reason and for no reason to do with your gender expression.
But I do think even in religion, they like lean, for religious purposes, they even lean into that femmephobia.
They do.
For sure.
Yeah, like the woman is supposed to be submissive to the man.
Exactly.
If a woman's with a woman, then who do you submit to? If a man is with a man, then you're being ungodly and
one
submitting
with
to
the
another.
pants.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes sense, but I can agree to that to a certain extent, because like you can still be like a homo, right, and not be
You can still be a homo,
and not like be feminine, right, and
Yes.
letting it still be okay, right? Like I don't know, I remember when I came out to my grandma as gay, and that's the only thing that I came out to my grandma to like about, and I told her that I was in a relationship with a man, and like he was more masculine. I was at the time, I thought I was giving masculine. Don't laugh. I was trying to do that because like I was living at Costa Rica at the time, and I was really just trying to protect myself. I feel like being feminine and gay at the same time is just not a good combo. People don't take you seriously. They're like, so you want to be a girl? That's what you're saying. That's like what I feel like. Well, they don't know that I'm like trans, right? But the last time I went to Costa Rica, I was definitely a little bit more boobalicious because I've been like on the hormones and stuff, and they were just already kind of treating me differently because they were like, something's going on here, bitch. What is that? I remember my uncle.
And it's here.
Miss Thing,
Like
my
an
uncle,
estrogen sniffer dog.
Miss Thing, my uncle, like. Because I have a good relationship with my uncle. He literally came up to me and slapped my boob, right? And it was like, he was being genuine because we were playful like that. You know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds weird, but we were just being playful. Like, and then he was like, oh, why did that hurt so much? I thought you were wearing like fake boobs or something. I'm like, sure. Yeah, no, I'm gaining weight.
Gyno.
And then I get a little gynomastia, bitch. And then it was so funny because like I had asked my cousin to come downstairs because I was gonna tell her I'm transitioning. Yeah. So he had just slapped my boob and it's like, I thought you were wearing fake boobs. And then he leaves and I turned to my cousin like, yeah, I'm starting hormones, you know what I mean? This and that. And she was like okay with it, but it's just so funny that like the fact that like I changed. Went from like trying to look a certain way to my family and then switching to being more femme. I already started like feeling like a shift with like how they treat me.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me. There was this really shitty experience I had like not too long after I came out, and girl, it was no one's surprise if I'm being honest, because I had started like low-key cross-dressing or doing drag as I was exiting high school. When I came out as trans, to like everyone who knew me that way, it was very like everyone's like, oh duh, like we were waiting. To basically my family, like not to say everyone took it well, like of course it was a shocker for like my grandparents, and like it took my sisters a little bit, and took my mom a little bit, but I mean, I think I'd already like was so femme as a gay boy, so it's just like there's really not much arguing to do. It's just, and I also had left home at that time, so I'm just like, none of you bitches are in charge of me. Like respectfully, this is what it is. Take it or leave it. Yeah. If you don't like it, tell people I died. I don't know. That's literally what I told my mom. And my mom's like, ooh. I'm like, ultimatum. Ultimatum. The queer ultimatum. Right? Before the queer ultimatum. But
we were already doing it.
Exactly. But I just decided to be cutthroat about it. Yeah. But I remember like I got this like voicemail from my grandpa. He like had butt dialed me, and it was like him in the middle of a conversation with like my grandparents' neighbors. And you can hear in that voicemail like my grandparents' neighbors like gendering me correctly and so empathetic and so like happy for me, so warm towards my decision to come out. And my grandpa being like, I had already put up with the cross-dressing and stuff, like this is just going too far, like in his own like Jamaican way. But essentially that was what he was saying. It was as though he felt like he was doing me a favor by accepting me in this like in between, and it was so righteous, and he was so brave. He was so brave to like accept me and just like validate me as cross-dressing, but like validating me as a girl was like astronomically different. He was like very stubborn about it in the beginning. And then I had to be cutthroat with him as well. I'd be like, if this is how you're feeling, like we're dead to each other. Like you are not my you're not my grandfather. I'm not your grandchild. If that's truly how you feel, then there's no conversation to be had. The boundary is just like, if you're gonna treat me that way, then you don't deserve access to me. So it's like I fully like pull back. It was like him understanding the consequences, and then my family also supporting me and defending me when he would like misgender me and like be dismissive towards my womanhood. That prompted him to like work a little bit harder. Not saying he's perfect, but work a little bit harder to like validate me. Like, no, there's actually consequences to your actions. You don't just get to, because you're Jamaican
and because you're old,
and because you're old. Like that's to me that's such a lazy ass response. And I told him
Yeah.
that I think of you as a bad person if you don't see me as I am. I'm grateful, like at that time I felt so empowered and I was around community while I was going through that, because if I hadn't, it would be harder to stand firm in my decision to just be out and open.
I think that speaks a lot to like your character and how strong you are as a person too. Not a lot of people have the ability to do that, especially with their grandparents. You know, a lot of people don't feel, I don't know, a lot of the times you just take it and like you even sometimes like start dressing in a different way to go see your grandparents, or you just don't see them or you avoid them. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of avoiding behavior, but I think that speaks to like how strong of a person you are. And like not saying other people are not strong, but it's just like how strong of a personality you are.
I know you're saying that's strong, but I also feel like you can still be strong, like, and not do all those things.
Exactly.
Too,
Absolutely.
because, like, I wasn't trying to like.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
No,
Because
like I still think
because
I haven't always been able to do it myself, and like I still see myself as a strong person, and like I feel inspired by what you've done with your family.
I also feel like you could just also put yourself in danger just from doing that, and sometimes
Absolutely.
Oh, for
and
sure.
like sometimes taking the L is like
keeping yourself safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did it. I did that from the safety of the place I was paying rent at. The fact that we have a relationship that is like I'm independent of them and I'm not as accessible. Once I become more accessible, it's going to become like they're going to trivialize me and going to project how they feel I should act and how they feel like I should
it's
be.
like you don't have that power anymore.
But I'm like, you don't have that power. I took that power
Exactly.
away from you. Jamaicans are very in each other's business. Like we will like constantly gossip and constantly have something to say.
My family is the same, and they're immigrants
Girl,
too. And they'd be
like-
like, when I came out, I remember she called my grandma. She was like, "Oh my God, your grandson is fucking gay." And then she called. I remember
Fucking gay.
And then I remember my grandma. She was laughing on the phone. Ha ha! You're so disgusting. And I'm like, oh, how are you laughing and saying all these things to me? And then she would call my dad, being like, you know, I raised you to be a man, like a macho man, and this, like macho man, by the way, not a man, but a macho man.
yeah,
It was
the femmephobia
just like,
coming back out.
it was just like, oh my
femmephobia.
God,
Yeah.
why did you think that was a moment to like just tell everybody? But it's gonna, if anything, it's gonna make you look bad, because everyone's gonna blame you. To be honest, not saying that like, you know, it was your fault, but I'm saying that like you think this is gonna be good for you, because now everyone's gonna be looking at you.
The chatter is gonna go around.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's like the parent who didn't raise their kid right. That I'm good over
No,
here.
I
Because
think
now that I
that's-
let everything out, I'm good to go. The Latinas in my household are.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's like that for myself as well. Yeah.
Chismosa.
To bring us back to the femmephobia piece. Okay, I've seen this on, I don't know if you're on the dating apps, but I've seen this on the dating apps. Can I be honest with you?
Please do.
I'm so sick and tired of these dates that feel like job interviews. In 2025, we deserve a space where we can show up just as we are, ready to meet other people just as they are. So lucky for you, on Field, you have the breathing room to explore your desires. Think open relationships, cuddling, being a brat, and find communities that share your interests. Think D&D, tennis, zine making. Free from ads and completely independent, this is the place that draws curious, playful, and open-minded people, the ones that you have been looking for. So if you're feeling curious, there's a little preview of what dating on Field has been like for Emily.
Field is the only dating app where I don't have to hide parts of myself. As someone who's both kinky and polyamorous, most platforms make dating feel like a job. Shifting through profiles, decoding vague bios, embracing myself for the moment I have to explain my relationship structure, unsure of how it'll land. But here, transparency isn't just welcomed, it's expected. It's built into the culture. I can lay everything out in my bio, no pretense, no softening, no waiting for the right moment to disclose. And the best part, I know I won't just be tolerated for it, I'll be celebrated. There's something liberating about not having to ease someone into who you are, whether it's naming the dynamics that make you feel most at home or exploring desires that might be too much elsewhere. Field creates space for honesty from the start. It means no second guessing, no unnecessary filtering, just a place to show up as yourself and trust that you'll be met there.
So get out your phone, go to the App Store or Google Play and download Field. That is FEELD. Thank you, Field, for sponsoring this episode. Do you think having no femmes or mask for mask on your dating app bio is femmephobia?
I low-key think it is, or high-key.
High
I don't
key.
think it's like a preference. I feel like it can't be a preference thing. What if you had said like no black people too, right?
And people do
you know
say
what I
that.
mean?
People say no
black,
Asians.
People say that.
no Asians.
Yeah.
No Asians,
yeah.
no, and it's just
No
I just feel
fats, they
like
say.
I just feel like it's weird. Then it makes me think about like you outside the apps. You're kind of already letting me know who you are outside the app. It's just like I wouldn't want to be in a space around you.
Yeah.
I feel like low key it could put me also at danger. I don't know. That's how I feel.
How I feel about it is that you don't have to go out of your way to put that in your bio. You can just like not
just
swipe
choose.
right.
Yeah.
You can literally just not message them. You can not match with them. But to
Totally.
put it in your bio is, I think, in just directly being like violent towards a person.
I agree.
A lot of these people who post these bios, they don't even have pics on their bios or pics on their profiles. They'll be blank pics and they'll be like no fats, no femmes. Like you don't even have a fucking pic.
And you're being picky.
You're being
No face, no case.
no pay.
It's giving DLs.
Right,
giving
so it's like it's just like
chasers.
it's weird. And to be honest, the times that I have messaged people, they don't even have bios like that. They'll be like, "Hey, sorry, I'm just not attracted to you."
Which is
Leave it at
the
that.
appropriate response.
Leave it at that.
I feel like it's also conflict avoidant. Like that hashtag is just like it's protecting you from like having to turn someone down or ultimately having to be your true character towards someone that you ultimately find is undesirable. So for me, I find it intellectually lazy because it's just like someone who can healthily communicate their preferences, quote unquote, like you can just say sorry, not interested.
Honestly, I think it's being outwardly violent towards someone because for the person
make
that
it
wrote
public
it,
like that.
when you make it public, for the person that wrote it, that's just another shitty day's work for them. For the person that's reading it, now they feel devalued. Now they
Exactly.
feel undesirable. They feel
Yeah, that's true.
unattractive.
And you know, it's so interesting that you say that because I would message people and they wouldn't have stuff like that on their bios. Maybe they did, but I would be challenged like in conversation being like, just want to know, are you femme or not? And I never know like what to ask because to be honest, at that time, I didn't know what being femme was. Let's say I meet up with them, right? And they see me and they're like, oh, I see them as like a non-femme person. And then as soon as they see me or hear me talk, they're like, oh, this is a faggot. They check out and they're just like not interested, you know? So I just feel like, you know, even if you do post stuff like that, femme what? Like femme personality, femme look, like femme what? Like what about the femininity do you not like?
I feel it is femmephobia 100%. And I think it does kind of even connect to the last question of like, is homophobia just femmephobia in disguise? Is like, that's them having a moment of internalized homophobia, internalized femmephobia, because if you're in the closet, like majority of the times when someone's saying like, or clocking you as being gay or saying like you're acting gay or you sound gay, they're speaking about your gender performance. They're not actually like, they didn't see you suck a dick. They didn't see you do something that's actually like a homosexual act. Like they're talking about you acting in a flamboyant or feminine way.
Femininity being seen as inherently like subordinate like when
Sub.
and then seeing homosexuality or being queer as a subordinate existence.
You know what's crazy? I used to think that being feminine was being vulnerable because I think that's what we're taught. As I've gone through my queer journey up until this point, it's really, really turned around for me to the point where I'm like, I could be a little bit more feminine. I can do a little, you know, I can have a little bit more flair in my step, but also like in my clothing, in my presentation. I used to be afraid of it and now I'm not afraid of it anymore. And the reason for that is because I feel like with society's perception of what femininity is and how vulnerable it is or how weak it is, quote unquote, to be very feminine purposely with intention takes a lot of courage.
Exactly.
So I'm like, you a bad bitch.
No,
I'm actually a little scared.
I
and
do.
I like it.
Intimidated.
I'm a little intimidated, but I like
I do
it.
agree that I do.
I like
agree.
it.
It takes a lot of courage to just like show up in that hyper feminine state, knowing that the world looks at you a specific way. Like you're just taking up space, and anyone who takes up space, I'm like, yeah, girl, man spread in that fucking tutu, bitch. Like that is like
in your bloomers.
That's essentially in your bloomers. Like that is like the energy that whether you are a girl or whether you are trans, no matter how you show up, even oh my gosh, they're like trans men who are like still like femme, and like I respect that so much.
I love it.
But like the person who I'm seeing called the like is also trans, so the person I'm seeing called them like traggots, and it's just like it's so.
How do we feel
Like
about that
it
word?
is, it is a new one.
Whispers it.
No, but like that queerness that is just unadulterated, like it is unmovable. I'm gonna be queer regardless of like where I'm at in my transition. I'm gonna be queer and I'm going to exist solely for my own pleasure.
Yeah.
I think that is like so commendable.
And it's full like cultural queerness too. You know, there's some people who
Exactly.
transition and I think they're in their mind, like their goal is to be as passing, like straight cis passing as possible. And if that feels right for you, by all means.
Girl, I've tried
You know?
that. It's boring.
It's boring.
That's what I'm
but
gonna
also
say.
like I can't relate. But but at the same time, I just feel like I never wanted that. For me, it started when I started taking like hormones, and I felt like certain things changing on my body, or in my body. On my body, in my body, and it just started feeling really good. And I don't know, it's so interesting because I feel like I had a lot of internalized homophobia, femmephobia, or maybe transphobia, whatever the phobia was. I had a lot of it because I remember growing up, and there was like this person named Kyle. Kyle, if you're hearing this, you know, I just wanted to be.
The name was Kyle. I feel like I just
I wanted to be you. I wanted to be you.
We like Kyle. Sorry,
No.
I'll take that back.
I low key, I high
like
key loved
Kyle.
Kyle because like growing up,
I never
remember.
met a Kyle I liked.
You know what? Well, listen.
Sorry, I got aggressive
at
immediately.
that time, I didn't want to like Kyle because Kyle was like open with his sexuality and openly feminine, right?
Yeah.
And I was like kind of jealous because I saw him and he was like the first person I've ever seen that was queer in like middle school. Is it middle school? Grade 6?
I don't know.
Whatever the fuck it is.
Elementary.
To me, grade 6 is elementary school.
Right. A part of me was like, oh my God, we can exist in a space like this.
Yeah.
And then immediately I just saw people were like hyper focused on him, being like, nobody be friends with him, nobody be friends with him, this and this and that.
They see you as
And
a
then
target.
that's when I was like, fuck, I can't be that because if I'm that, then this is what I'm gonna get. So I was like assimilating, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I cannot be femme. I remember calling him like eyeliner boy. I remember calling him sissy, all these things. Mind you, like it did
always the
suck saying
closeted
those
ones.
things. I know.
Meanwhile,
I miss
you were like, oh, I wish. I
I
wish.
know.
You're like, I love
and
the
the thing is, like,
eyeliner.
I tried my best. Like, it's so weird because the same thing that like homophobic people would do, and it's like, if you're gonna
It's
be
'cause
homophobic,
you
to
don't want to
me,
be targeted. You're like, I need to join in so that I'm safe.
every time I encounter a homophobic person, I think that low key they are the homo.
They're the homo.
Probably.
because like I remember
Like, why are you trying so hard?
wanting to like somehow still associate myself with that person somehow if it's through bullying. Because I still wanted to like have that communication, because if I was being too friendly, I might be one of them.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
then
One
you're
of them.
one of
them.
the one of the GAYs.
One of the they thems.
You couldn't even say the word gay because you would catch it. So I just remember just trying my best to like, you know, like somehow staying a distance but still trying to communicate. And then like years later, like in high school, I went to like an art school thinking I could like come out, and I didn't even get to come out the way I wanted to. And it's so funny because the person that I bullied, Kyle, he came to my high school. And then the gag is I went to go support my lesbian friend at a GSA, right? Gay Street Alliance. And then I stepped in. And as soon as I stepped in, they were like, oh, so you're gay, right? Like, you're gay too. I'm like, oh, no, I'm just here to support a friend. No, you're gay.
Ally.
You're like, oh, closet.
Clocked. Not
And
in
I'm
the
like,
gay straight alliance.
that was my,
Not
right?
making the GSA the most unsafe
And I'm like, bitch, I know. They were all saying all that shit, and I remember like, squeezing my friend's shoulder, like being like, what's happening? Like, I came here for you. Like, I came for you. What? And then the corner, who do I see? Kyle.
Fucking Kyle.
Fucking Kyle. And he's like, bitch, I fucking knew it. You deserve this.
That was Kyle's comeuppance. You know what I mean?
no shade.
That was Kyle's
Kyle
like
through the first.
that was Kyle's
song.
moment.
Shady. He
You
was
needed
like,
the karma to come back.
so I
Kyle was doing
definitely.
great, yeah, girl.
Oh my gosh.
And look at you now.
Yeah.
Right?
I was so femme to the point where people would like constantly ask me, "Do you want to be a girl? Do you want to be a boy?" And like,
I've been asked if I want to be a boy.
Right.
Yeah.
Catholic school, you know, like, so there's also like those undertones of people like believing that I'm sinful simply because I was a flamboyant kid. I think like femmephobia, especially within those spaces, can be very dangerous. I realize like not as many people, like you said earlier, like I'm strong, but like not as many people have the resolve I did. A kid who was in that same elementary school, trigger warning, years after me, and I could tell like that was a little fag, no shade, but like people bullied him and he ended up taking his life. Like it was bad. I feel like the only way we can really like push back against it is like normalize like femininity.
I think we need to not only accept but celebrate femininity in men, you know, socialize as men.
Down with
But then-
fag discord.
But I think we also need to celebrate masculinity in women or people who are socialized as women.
You know, we're gonna have our little like hippie non-binary mode era once everyone's over being so fucking conservative and fascist.
It's in
and
cycles.
so anti-intellectual. Please read books.
Or audiobooks. There's audiobooks too.
Right.
You
You
can
don't have to be so
Listen
smart.
to audiobooks.
Unless you have auditory dyslexia too. Because I got it bad.
Bring back storytelling and just like having conversations in like a community focused way.
And I feel like people should interrogate their own relationship to their own femininity as well. Notice what things are internalized femmephobia. What are you holding on to? I think for me, it's like I put myself in my own box because I thought I was a femme person. I thought I was a woman. And that was like part of my own journey of like being non-binary. But I think anyone can do that. It's like, what roles are you putting on yourself just because of who and how you present? You know?
I wanted to expand on that because there was something I was thinking about. I was noticing that there's these conversations of like femininity sort of being devalued in certain feminist spaces. Like if you're a hyper femme, like people like treating you differently in like feminist
OG
spaces.
lesbian spaces used to be like that historically. It's like that was like one of the waves of femininity where they felt like just it was like down with women in general. And it's like anyone who expresses femininity is like part of the patriarchy.
Right.
But it's not true.
Yeah, femininity should also be like attributed to an intellectual state
A
of
leader.
being, leadership. Exactly.
Because it is.
Yes.
All of the fucking places that I go to, it's all women leaders. That's all I'm gonna
Hello.
say.
Like I said, like I feel like I used to be very masculine presenting because it was like safety, it was armor, and now I'm realizing that while I do still like to dress masculine, a good amount of the time, I go to like the more feminine side nowadays because I feel like there's so much like courage and boldness and like bravery in being feminine.
I was gonna say, and like actively push back on the things that people say that may be like stereotyping or putting femininity in like a lesser position. If someone's roasting Taylor Swift for the wrong reasons, you can get on them. But if they're roasting it for the right reasons, then that's fine. Yeah. And Danny, it's time for your pageant answer.
Oh my God,
sweetie.
my pageant answer.
How, Danielle Lastres,
Where's my
how can
crown?
we counteract femmephobia?
Well,
Not reading off. You can't read off.
No.
Girl, just read off the phone.
how can we counteract femmephobia? We have to center femininity, not tolerate it. That means honoring trans women, femmes, non-binary folks, and anyone who expresses femininity in the world that tells them not to. It means protecting them, paying them, amplifying them and hiring them. For me, it also means making art that reflects the softness as strength, documenting joy, our resistance, our survival. Because when you show people the femininity, it is not a weakness, it is revolution. Ooh. That's when things start to shift.
Kind of feels like a Tampax commercial when you read it like
Oh
that.
my God.
Give
her her
I
sash.
feel like she's running on her period.
Give her her crown, her sash. No, she's
I love that.
ovulating.
I
She's
love-
ovulating.
I remember during Pride, like in some of my sets, I would get on the mic because you know the girl can MC while she's DJing. I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
But I would say like, don't just protect the dolls. Like, celebrate the dolls. Like, book the dolls, pay the dolls, tip the dolls. You know, do the work to ensure that at least you're creating infrastructure for them to succeed. Don't just put a T-shirt on that says protect the dolls.
Right.
Do something for the dolls.
Because why
No
is it that
shade.
like queer people, especially trans folks, they do everything out of pocket, and then when it comes to like white cis gays, they make sure it's profitable, and they try to get the money for themselves. They don't put the actual money towards those people. And on top of that, like when they claim that this is a space for queer people, I step into that door. Why is everyone super muscular, tall, white? You know, it's just like, I
And
feel like
staring at me and
you
making me
know,
uncomfortable.
making me feel like you came to the wrong place.
Yeah.
But why does your flyer says it's for queer people? Like, what does queer mean to you as a white gay? You know what I mean? Like,
Call them out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Make it up.
And the thing is, like, I've definitely been hired for situations where, you know, I'm assumed that this is going to be a queer party, and then it's with my camera, I'm just like shaking, girl. I'm like, there's too many men shirtless, and I'm just like, this was a queer party, and you know, I get maybe they're trying, and maybe it's a new collective and stuff like that. But I just feel like, where are the trans people? Where are the queer people? Where are the femmes? Why don't see them working? You know what I mean? Maybe I'm one of them working the floor, but why am I the only one?
Yeah.
Like, why am I the only one? This
Maybe not
makes
trying
me-
hard enough then.
Let's talk about like maybe like how we see allyship to femmes and people who are femme presenting. Like, what would allyship to femme people look like?
For me, I love when someone okay, I didn't even know this was possible until my friends started this like techno collective, and we started going to their parties, Carousel Collective. When we were at their parties, there'd be like this creepy dude. It was one of the first parties, and he was making everyone in the room uncomfortable. And then afterwards, we were all like talking about it. We're like, oh my God, it was amazing. But that one guy was ruining the vibe. He was like really like lurking on everyone. And then my friend Yusuf was like, what? Why didn't you tell us? Like, I would have kicked him out immediately. And then like going forward after that, we go to them, and immediately these people are kicked out and removed from the space. It's like, that person doesn't have to assault you. Just like their presence making you uncomfortable, remove them. And
Absolutely.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, because I think we're so trained to just like, oh, that person
Tolerate.
needs to be comfortable.
Exactly.
They paid a ticket. They deserve to be here and make everyone uncomfortable. It's like, no.
We
The
could
allyship
just-
is remove the people who are making the people who make the party comfortable.
Exactly.
You know?
For me, I think about like in conversation, when you see like a femme being talked over, or you see like a feminine person not being taken seriously, and you have the opportunity to like take up space and like tell the room to like take that person seriously and ensure that their point is heard, please do that.
A man who says, this person just had a really good opinion.
Exactly.
I love what Miss Myles just said. Did anyone hear that? Like,
I would love to
I love
hear
that.
more, Miss
Yes.
Myles. Please
Yeah.
continue on that point.
yeah.
Yes. No matter like what gender, right? If we can like show like men, straight men, gay men, because I feel like even gay men are like
Oh, they're still
transphobic, femphobic. If I were to see a guy protecting like someone that is just femme, period, if we get to see that more, if it's like in TV shows or in movies, or like seeing that in a working environment and like pushing that, I feel like it could just create better, safe environments for.
It would.
I
don't
agree.
know.
I mean, you were given this big old body. Use it to protect people,
Yeah,
and
do
use your
some good.
privilege. Use your privilege to stand up for people and make people feel safe. Because if you're just gonna be a bystander, but you have all of the privilege in the goddamn world, then who's gonna protect people?
What a a waste of privilege.
100%.
That's
Keep
it.
breaking
To
the
me,
fourth
I
wall.
feel like
No, I love it. I love looking in. I'm
to me,
like,
it's like embracing their, like, I don't know, to
Yeah.
me, it kind of embraces their masculinity in like a different way, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's masculine when
Oh,
a man
that's
is
so
like,
sexy.
when someone's like, what's that word, comfortable in their sexuality. They don't need to
Yeah.
like really think about this person's gonna think I'm gay and this and this and that. They're just like whatever. Like they're just gonna go about it and like stand up, regardless of like what kind of narrative people are gonna say, like think, being like, oh, this person's this person's that.
Because what? Being gay isn't a bad thing, and being femme isn't a bad thing. So if you're perceived as that, even when you're not, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and
That's-
don't enable it
yeah.
either.
now that
Period.
is a good place to end. So before we wrap this up, where can people find you? What have you got going on?
You can find me at madame.myles, Myles with a Y, for all my DJ and event production, and miss.myles, MUA, for any makeup, hair, any, more forward-facing, like, public stuff. Y'all can check me out on social media. I'm always running around doing something.
Well, you can find me on Instagram if you want to book me. My email is also on there. It's Danielle.Lastres, Lastres. And yeah, fucking book me, and that's it.
Period. Danielle is one of our favorite photographers in the city. I will also say that. Miss Myles is one of our favorite MUAs. I was just saying.
I was just waiting.
This I'm so sorry.
You're like,
This bitch doesn't know how to promote herself. That's why I'm like, get out there. I'm like,
Okay, I'll take the
go
read.
get those jobs.
So that's everything that we have for you today. And if you want to dive deeper into trans issues and how to be a better ally, we have another episode with Miss Myles and King. It's called Trans Fetishization and Dating. So go check that out. If you like this episode, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, make sure to leave us a 5-star review because it really does help the podcast out. That's everything that we got. And until next time, peace.
Yeah.